Imagine losing everything, your home, your belongings, even your hope. Now imagine a stranger steps in to help, and that stranger turns out to be Keanu Reeves. In a busy city full of noise and rushing people, there was a bus driver named John. Nobody really noticed him much. He wore a simple uniform, kept his head down, and always had a gentle smile. What people didn't know was that John was actually Keanu Reeves in disguise. He had chosen this simple life for a while because he wanted to understand people better and live like an ordinary man. Every morning, he drove his old city bus through crowded streets. People of all kinds stepped in. Workers, students, tired mothers, old men with heavy bags. John greeted each one with the same soft, "Good morning." Most passengers never even replied. They were too busy with their phones or their problems. But that never bothered him. His kindness didn't depend on whether someone noticed. One rainy evening, while waiting at a bus stop, John saw a small family standing quietly. A father, a mother, and their little daughter, maybe 7 years old. Their clothes were worn out and they carried only one torn bag. The father was trying to cover his daughter with his thin jacket, even though he himself was shivering. The mother held the bag tightly, her face pale and tired. When they stepped onto the bus, John noticed their sad eyes. The little girl clutched a small teddy bear, the only thing she seemed to own. John didn't ask questions, but he could sense something heavy in their hearts. They sat quietly in the corner, almost invisible to others. As the bus rolled forward, John looked at them through the mirror. He could tell they weren't just poor. They looked lost, like strangers in a place that didn't welcome them. He guessed. They were immigrants, new to the city, carrying more pain than belongings. John knew he couldn't just drive and forget them. Something inside him whispered, "This family needs you." The bus kept moving, but John's eyes stayed on the family. Other passengers got off one by one until only the family remained. When they reached the last stop, the father walked up to John and asked softly, "Sir, is there anywhere safe we can stay tonight?" His English was broken, but his eyes said more than words ever could. John paused. He could have just given directions to a shelter, but he knew this family needed more than instructions. They needed someone to treat them like humans, not like problems. He smiled warmly and said, "Don't worry, I'll help." He led them out of the bus and into a small diner nearby. The family looked surprised. No stranger had ever cared for them like this. Inside, the smell of warm soup filled the air. The little girl's eyes lit up, and for the first time, John saw her smile. They sat at a table, and John ordered food for them. While waiting, he gently asked their story. The father explained, "We came here for a better life, but last week, all our belongings were stolen. We have nothing left. No home, no money, just this bag." His voice broke as he spoke. The mother nodded quietly, holding back tears. John listened carefully, never interrupting. When the food arrived, he pushed the plates toward them. "Eat first," he said softly. The family ate as if they hadn't seen a full meal in days. The little girl hugged her teddy bear while sipping hot soup, her face glowing with comfort. When they finished, John gave them advice. He told them about a community center nearby that helped immigrant families. He even offered to take them there in the morning. The father looked down, ashamed. "We can't pay you back." John shook his head. "It's not about money. Sometimes kindness is enough," the mother whispered. "You are like an angel to us." John only smiled. But deep inside, he felt something stronger. This was why he chose to live as an ordinary man. To find moments like this, to remind people that humanity is still alive. The next morning, John drove his bus as usual, but he had one special plan. He asked the immigrant family to wait at the station. After finishing his route, he came back and guided them to the community center he had mentioned. The center was a small building run by kind volunteers. Posters on the walls spoke of free meals, language classes, and job support for new families. As soon as they entered, the family looked around in surprise. It was not fancy, but it was full of warmth. Children laughed in one corner, and a volunteer was teaching English to a group of parents. John introduced them to a woman named Maria, who worked there. "They are new here," he said. "They've lost everything. Can you help them?" Maria smiled and nodded. "Of course. That's what we're here for." She took the family to a room where they could rest. The mother's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness this time, but of relief. For the first time in weeks, they felt safe. The father turned to John. "Why are you helping us? You don't even know us." John looked at him and said gently, "Because everyone deserves kindness. Today it's you. Tomorrow it might be me. Humanity is about standing together." The little girl tugged at John's sleeve. She held out her teddy bear and whispered, "Thank you, mister." That small gesture touched him more than words ever could. He knelt down and smiled at her. "You keep that bear safe, okay? One day, you'll tell him how strong you were." Later that day, Maria arranged food supplies and temporary shelter for the family. The father also got news of a small job at a workshop. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The family's eyes shone with hope again, all because one stranger had chosen to care. As John walked away, blending back into the busy streets, he felt peaceful. He didn't need applause or recognition. Helping quietly was enough. Deep in his heart, he knew humanity lives in the little things we do for one another. Weeks passed, and life slowly began to change for the family. The father worked at the workshop, earning enough to buy food. The mother helped at the community center, cooking meals for other newcomers. The little girl started school, where she quickly made friends. Their days were still hard, but now they had hope, something they thought they had lost forever. One evening, as the family sat together in their small room, the mother turned on the television. A news report flashed across the screen. The reporter was speaking about a charity event where movie star Keanu Reeves had donated money to help poor families. The little girl gasped and pointed at the screen. "Mama, that's him! That's the bus driver!" The parents stared in shock. On the screen, Keanu was smiling humbly, talking about the importance of kindness. The father rubbed his eyes, unable to believe it. The mother whispered, "It can't be. Can it?" But they knew. The gentle eyes, the warm smile. It was the same man who had bought them dinner, who had guided them to safety. Their bus driver, John, was not just any man. He was Keanu Reeves. The little girl hugged her teddy bear tightly and whispered, "I knew he was an angel." The family didn't tell anyone. They didn't run out to find him or try to use his name for favors. Instead, they carried his kindness in their hearts. They realized something important. It wasn't his fame or money that had saved them. It was his humanity. He had chosen to help them quietly without needing to be recognized. From that day, the father started telling his daughter, "When you grow up, remember what the bus driver taught us. Humanity is not about who you are, but about what you give to others." And so, the story of one quiet act of kindness lived on. The family built their new life, stronger than before, inspired by the man who showed them that true heroes don't wear capes and they don't need to be known. Sometimes they are just strangers who care. Months later, the immigrant family had settled into their new life. The father's job at the workshop had become steady, and the mother was now teaching, cooking classes at the community center. The little girl, once shy and quiet, had grown more confident at school. She often told her classmates, "Be kind, because kindness saves people." But deep inside their hearts, the family never forgot the quiet bus driver who had changed their lives. Even though they now knew he was Keanu Reeves, they never spoke of it to others. To them, he was not a famous actor. He was the man who showed them humanity when the world had turned its back. One evening, the family sat together at dinner. The father said, "We cannot repay what was given to us, but we can pass it forward." From that day, they made a promise. Every time they met someone struggling, they would help in whatever small way they could, sharing food, offering a place to rest, or simply giving a kind word. Slowly, their kindness began to spread. The little girl shared her sandwich with a hungry classmate. The mother cooked extra meals for neighbors in need. The father helped another immigrant at the workshop learn new skills. None of these acts made the news, but they made hearts lighter. Far away, Keanu, still living simply and humbly, would sometimes pass by the same community center. He never spoke to the family again, never revealed himself, but he watched from a distance, smiling at how they were rebuilding their lives with dignity. He saw the little girl laughing with friends, her teddy bear still in her hands. He knew his job was done. In the quiet of the night, as the city buzzed with noise, a simple truth lived on. One act of kindness can plant a seed that grows into a forest of hope, and that is how heroes are made, not by fame, not by money, but by humanity.